Addiction is a source of misery. It's also a symptom of misery.
Two members of President Donald Trump's cabinet traveled to Tennessee to speak at the summit. Attorney General Pam Bondi and Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Our Laura Rogers has more about what the administration officials shared at the conference.
Congressman Hal Rogers of Kentucky's 5th District welcoming U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi to the RX Summit.
All these drugs have just infiltrated our country.
He says as Florida Attorney General, she played a key role in shutting down the pill mills targeting Eastern Kentuckians.
I worked closely with Jack Conway, who was the Attorney General at the time. I think it was called the Oxy Express.
Yeah.
And people would drive down from your state, from West Virginia even, right? From everywhere.
Tennessee.
They would drive to Florida because we had absolutely no regulations, and they were, I called them drug dealers wearing white coats.
Today it's fentanyl getting the most attention as a deadly drug, which Bondi says is coming across the border.
And now it's fentanyl, it's xylazine, it's carfentanil. It's these crazy drugs that are made in China, all made in China, and shipped to Mexico and coming right across the border into our country.
Rogers applauding the Trump administration's border policies and helping to curb the flow.
First, it's all Donald Trump. It's his directive, and everything we do is working with him to keep America safe. If you've ever heard that man open his mouth, he is anti-drugs.
Attorney General Bondi says this year alone, they've seized 21.5 million fentanyl pills and 3,100 pounds of fentanyl.
It's flowing into our country, and President Trump said, no more, it's going to stop. No more human trafficking, no more drugs across our border, and we're doing everything we can to stop it. But so many of these drugs are already in our country, and that's why all of you in this audience and you, Chairman, have such a vested interest in this and helping these victims and getting these drugs off our streets.
This morning, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. speaking at the RX Summit, sharing his own story of addiction that began in his teens.
I knew that I needed a spiritual awakening, because I did not want to be the person that I was. I wanted to be just a normal person who didn't wake up in the morning thinking of drugs and thinking about them all day.
Kennedy, who lost his brother and other loved ones to overdoses, entered a 12-step program and has now been in recovery 42 years.
If you believe in God, you're more likely to get sober, and your sobriety is going to be more enduring.
He attributes his faith and spirituality to his sobriety journey, but admits it hasn't always been easy.
When the cash and prizes start flowing in, my inclination is to say, thanks, God, I got it from here, and take the wheel of the car and drive off the cliff again. And the challenge for me, and I think for all of us who are trying to maintain long-term sobriety, is how do we stay in that posture of surrender, even when everything's going well in our lives.
Kennedy says more than 4 decades later, he still attends 12-step meetings to stay on track.
When I came in 42 years ago, I said to a guy, how long do you have to keep coming to these meetings? And he said, just keep coming till you like it. Well, I've been coming 42 years, and I still don't like it. But I go every day because when I go, the rest of my life works. The lights turn green for me. The parking places open up. People answer the phone. The projects that I work on get over the goal line, and it's kind of this magic.
He says his agency has $4 billion for harm reduction, prevention education, and recovery and treatment programs. Along with those, he says he would like to see people think more broadly.
How do we restore our families? How do we restore that commitment to community?
One idea, helping young people cut back on the use of addictive devices.
Banning cell phones in school is one of the things that we need to do to remedy addiction, not just all the standard nuts and bolts things, which we need to do. We need to do everything we can to reestablish hope in our kids.
Reporting from the RX and Illicit Drug Summit in Nashville, for Kentucky Edition, I'm Laura Rogers.
Thank you so much, Laura. More from the summit, including a conversation with a motorcycle rider who became addicted to opioids. It's available online on demand at KET.org. This week, Kentucky Edition has brought you coverage from Nashville, Tennessee of the RX and Illicit Drug Summit, focused on addiction treatment and recovery, as well as prevention.